snappy.
John's gonna time it. How many minutes?
Don't know.
I can't have you asking how many minutes in the video, man.
Oh, it's recording. I'm sorry. I didn't recording in the video.
Thanks, Obama.
Alright.
Cyrus win.
Alright.
I can't have that in the video.
Since the 1960s, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration's budget has shrunk from nearly 5.5% of the total budget for the United States in the mid-60s to 2.2% at the time of the moon landing and less than half of a percent today. The organization that took us to the moon is starting to shrivel up, and it's up to us to decide if we want to keep it upright. NASA faces unique problems that no other scientific discipline has to deal with, and this forces them to be innovative. The cultural shifts of the past few decades have also heavily been influenced by NASA's unifying force for Americans to rally behind. For these contributions, they don't drive a hard bargain at all, representing a very small portion of our budget. But is it worth continuing to fund them as we move into the 21st century? To start off, I'd like to talk about their contribution to science, because they're in a unique position to unravel problems that no other scientific discipline has to face. And the answers to those problems have unique applications here on Earth. For example, NASA is working on growing and nurturing plants on the International Space Station right now. To meet this challenge, they had to develop tools to monitor plants remotely. And since then, they've discovered new information on how plants respond to gravity. Astronauts are faced with unique medical scenarios that no one on Earth has to encounter. Many of which are exaggerated forms of conditions that already exist here on Earth. For example, their recent research into cardiac atrophy, which is the way that cardiac muscles will expand when they're in zero-gravity conditions. These same conditions occur on a smaller scale during bed rest. And this is important for NASA, of course, because they're going to be sending astronauts on long voyages. But this same discovery can explain medical conditions here on Earth. But the unique stance that NASA holds is not only bound to the domain of science. The space program is also culturally significant. Bill Nye, for instance, who has worked as an engineer for Boeing, said that he always loved airplanes in flight, and that the space program was really important to him as a kid. He says that he still has a photo of Armstrong and Aldrin on the moon in his living room. Here's an engineer, a successful person with a long-standing love of science, citing NASA and the space program as the force that nurtured his love of science since childhood. NASA has instilled a love of science for the past few generations, magnitudes greater than what scientists were able to achieve in the centuries before. They also served as a force of cultural unity during the Cold War, one of the darkest times in American history. Ask any American who was alive in 1969, and they all share that memory of huddling around a TV or a radio or on rooftops watching Apollo 11 take off. That experience brought our country together, and I believe that NASA has many more experiences like that in store for us. That value is completely intangible, and there's no way to ever put a price on it. And if we had to put a price on it, I would say that 0.5% of our budget is more than worth it. Remember that it was 6% of our budget that took us to the moon, which sounds like a lot, but that cost is offset when you consider the industries that came from this. An article in BusinessWeek.com by Michael Mandel raised an interesting point about this. When NASA was trying to get a man on the moon, they were the primary buyers of circuits and small computers. This put a downward pressure on the price of these goods, right before the boom in computing in the 80s, which redefined the American industrial landscape and created millions of jobs. This pushed technology forward into our present day, where computers completely rule all aspects of economics. And that was with a much larger percent of our budget, which we have cut down to 0.5% today. And that number is shrinking, following a downward trend. On this budget, we can't even afford to use American rockets and depend on the Russian Federal Space Agency to get to and from the International Space Station. If the space program's demand for computers created a boom in American computing considerable, it might risk by forcing NASA to buy from foreign markets. So as NASA's budget continues to trend downward, it's time to ask ourselves some questions. With all of the unique problems that they encounter and the brilliant innovations that they are able to create for us, their discoveries have a notable effect on America's culture and economy, and by keeping them around, we stand to gain a lot more than we spend. But is the investment too much? I would say that it isn't. It's had a palpable effect on your life so far, whether you realize it or not. The philosophical revolution that came from pictures of Earth from far away and the cultural realization that we all live on one world, technologies like LEDs, solar cells, and antifreeze, the leaps forward in efficiency and safety and productivity. We cut cruising highways to make them safe because NASA learned that you can do that. Industries have new powdered lubricants that can withstand harsher conditions than oil because of NASA. Innovations like this have saved industry and commerce millions of dollars, and if I kept just naming things that they've done, this would be less like a speech and more like a laundry list. So the funding we have given NASA in the past has more than paid for itself. And if you want to continue this important investment in our future, the best thing you can do is write your congressman and support candidates that support NASA, because we risk cutting them down to a point where we can never get them down.
Encore.
Do it again, man. Yeah.
Realized like halfway through that most of that was garbage, and I had to just ad-lib.
What was garbage?
Some of it just didn't make any sense. So I just had
try writing it
to
when you're not drunk.
had to work around it a lot. I wrote it at 3 a.m. Drunk.
Well, that was good. I'm surprised you didn't say cell phones, but yeah.
I couldn't find that. I couldn't find anything to back that up.
Oh, well, that's because the cell phone is like the agglomeration of all those technologies.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely NASA. It's sparked by NASA.